No, review the Ten Commandments. And if a day goes by and you didn't do anything for God, you're wasting your life.
All right, I'm going to give you a book, and if you don't read it, you're being immoral.
I would be being immoral because I'm betraying your trust.
Right, and that's wrong, universally.
Yes, because
Okay,
we
thank
agree
you.
that lying is wrong.
My name is Charles C. Pang. I'm 40 years old, born and raised, and still currently living in my hometown of Aurora,
I'm sure.
But now that we're on the subject of lottery, is there a Kabbalah on the lottery that you know of
No.
from our sages?
No, because if there was, then all our sages would be rich, and they were not.
So if we have to find out what our purpose is, what we're needed for, are we supposed to do some sort of dream question or dream quest before we go to sleep to find out that revelation?
No, review the Ten Commandments. And if a day goes by and you didn't do anything for God, you're wasting your life.
But most of the commandments from the 613 we can't do. We have to wait for the Messiah to come.
There's plenty to keep us busy. Out of 613, we have 270. 270? That could be a full-time job.
Like what? Like keeping kosher, keeping Shabbos, having a mezuzah, doing tefillin? Like,
There you go. That's a good start.
relevant today. So if there's any other mitzvahs we could do that you could tell us, that'd be great.
Yeah, a woman can go to the mikveh. You can have children, which is a huge mitzvah.
Mm-hmm.
You can pray 3 times a day, which is a mitzvah. You can observe all the holidays, not only Shabbat.
Like what? Like keeping kosher, keeping Shabbat to find out that revelation?
No, review the Ten Commandments. And if a day goes by and you didn't do anything for God, you're wasting your life.
So right there, Mr. Haskins, Rabbi Friedman is guiding you to look at the Ten Commandments, which number 1 is thou shalt not have any other gods before me. And then number 2 is honor thy father and mother. And then we get into the do not kill, do not steal, do not commit adultery. You know, it's just Rabbi Friedman is absolutely correct. Just go back to the beginning. The first 10 commandments that were necessary amongst the people to just bring light back into the minds of the people, I guess is how I would put it. But again, if I'm going to answer, where's my user's manual? How do I find out the real reason for my being on Earth? This is where I tell everybody in this Roe versus Wade argument that I imagine when I found this answer for myself, when I went to my creators, my mother and my father, and I said, why did you guys have me? Was there a specific purpose? And they laid out the plan so that like it was, it was a good feeling. I could joke about it, but it was reassuring to know that hey, I wasn't able to really align what God was showing me, God, the Almighty Hashem, the force, the almighty power, but it all starts in understanding, like Yahshua, Joseph, and Mary are recognized for. They were this family unit who both the parents were in agreement. They had a prenuptial agreement that the child that they were going to raise was going to be the Messiah. They had a choice to name this child Emmanuel or Jesus. Both names have different meanings involved with God. We, the people today of the candid world, understand that Yahshua went with the name Jesus. Why? Because that was the path. God with us. And then Emmanuel, I can't remember, but he picked that. And from my understanding of Scripture, it was that really upset the tribe of David, the followers, and just believers of the prophecy of King David. And that's what I understand now that Jesus just wanted to do. It was something that his people needed so bad. It was like being an entrepreneur. How do you become rich? You find a problem or a lack or some kind of need within the world, to whatever scale you want to use those words. And then you try to fit that need. And depending on the scale of, the need that you fill, resolve, change, you'll be rewarded. So if we're going to talk about the lottery, I became the world's first gazillionaire through my belief that I was hearing God and talking to God and walking with God. So, again, where do I find out the real reason for my being on Earth? The question I'm sure everybody has. My answer for everybody is to go ask your creators directly. Go to your mother and father if you can. If you can't, then perhaps maybe dream on what it was. The reason. But then this is where the argument of the world comes in. And I tell myself, how would that little boy in me react if I heard the answer when I asked my creators, why, what is the real reason you had me? And they were just, what are you talking about? What other choice did we have? That's where I stand on this Roe versus Wade. Taking away the choice of being able to choose life. You're not choosing life if there's no other choice. You're just doing, So, again, I would advise a step further that my brother, Mr. Haskins, would just ask your creators directly instead of coming to Rabbi Friedman. He's got his own son, I'm sure.
to find out that revelation?
No, review the 10 Commandments. And if a day goes by and you didn't do anything for God, you're wasting your life.
And most of the commandments in the 613 we can't do. We have to wait for the Messiah to come.
What does that mean?
There's plenty to keep us busy. Out of 613, we have 270. 270? That could be a full-time job.
Like what? Like keeping kosher, keeping Shabbos, having a mezuzah, doing tefillin? Like,
There you go. That's a good start.
I just don't know what I'm missing. Like, a lot of it's redundant, repetitive, and a lot of it's not relevant today. So if there's any other mitzvahs we could do that you could tell us, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And this is where you have to ask yourself, are you doing your 6 hours of, Torah study, prayers, you're keeping kosher, keeping your mezuzah, you're doing all this in a world that's kind of just okay with, it's just, if you were to all of a sudden walk out and not wear a yarmulke, sure, maybe members of your tribe would recognize and just be like, what's going on? And then how would that make you? It's just, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it because you're waiting for me, the Messiah, to come and tell you, okay, yeah, out of this list of 613, you definitely have to do the 270 that, I guess, I have no idea exactly, but hey, if Rabbi Friedman says that we have 270 and then you're worried about the 613 and can't focus on the 10, I already see huge holes that are missing. So,
a woman can go to the mikveh. You can have children, which is a huge mitzvah.
Right. So if there is Planned Parenthoods, any time a child is born, life is glorified to God, because that life was born of God. It wasn't coerced or tricked or used, I feel, as like a weight to throw on the scale when I weigh their deeds. Well, I saved these many lives by preventing these many abortions. No, that doesn't fly in my in my reign. That don't even put that on the scale. You don't want it on the scale. It's gonna weigh it negative, So it's just, listen to the language.
You can pray 3 times a day, which is a mitzvah. You can observe all the holidays, not only Shabbat. You can keep kosher in all ways, not just at home. I mean, come on. A lot of things we can do. And you don't have to do them all. Just make sure that no day goes by when you're not serving God, because that's a wasted day. Now, some people are very devoted, and they make sure that not an hour goes by without serving God.
Okay, but 2 mitzvahs I try to do every day include, besides tefillin, include personal prayer and Torah study. But I just find that my time is very limited, and I can't fully achieve in completeness both mitzvahs satisfactory. I'm always running out of time. Any advice on that?
Keep trying. That's all God asks.
pick the mitzvah you want to invest in most. Okay? The Messiah gives you permission. I hear you. You have these two. Pick one that you want to be outstanding instead of satisfactory. Focus the time that you're running out of spending a budget on divvying up how you're going to complete both. Just time is relative. Time is illusory. So just break down time on a larger scale. Don't do it by day. Look at it by like a year, 5 years. They say 10,000 hours of deliberate practice towards developing some kind of skill or talent leads to true mastery in any given field. And, you know, people think like, oh, I don't have time for that. But if you just sit down and break it down in a year, there's 365 days in a year times 24 days or 24 hours in a day. All right. So then you got that. So then you can just break it down like this. How much of that time are you truly spending? It's not these little, hey, yeah, this week, da-da-da-da. In the long run, it's going to be looked at like, hey, yeah, that's cool. You had a solid hit in, August when everybody found out I was coming. But then what happened all before that? Like, what caused this spike? Was it me? Was it something else? This is what I'm going to be asking. I just want people to be candid with me like this. So I'm just giving you an answer. Look, you don't have to just go to your mother and father, call them up first and just, hey, is there anything I could do for you? No, this is kind of weird. I'm sure you'll get that, but I just want to honor my second commandment. I got to start somewhere. That's a very humble start for a son to come to the Creator and just be like, look, out of the 883 plus the 10 that you originally gave, I'm going to focus on the 2 that I know and just work really hard not to commit any of the other ones, murder, adultery, and all that stuff. That's all God can ask. Just the minute you feel some kind of like, oh, am I doing enough? Your answer is probably not, because all of a sudden you're questioning it. So it's just change the way you're wording things, or look at the way the things you're wording are just painting the picture, if that helps.
Don't give up. Don't quit. And you'll see your time getting freed up more and more. But the main thing is, give it your best.
So the next question is about segulas. Are there any good segulas that you recommend? So the next question is about segulas. Are there any good segulas that you recommend for Parnassa and financial success?
Yeah, go to work every day.
No, but that's the other thing that I'm confused about, Rabbi Friedman, because from one of the books from Rabbi Shlomo Arush on the Garden of Success, he's saying that if you just believe in God and have trust, you don't need to struggle with work. You can just believe that Hashem will provide for you. Is that true? Do you believe in that? Why or why not?
No. I don't think he says that. God will bless your efforts. If you don't make efforts, then you're on your own. Good luck to you. You've got to make the effort. And it's got to be a reasonable effort. You can't expect to get rich from a little candy store. If all you want to do is sell a little candy, don't expect to be rich. Play by the rules. If you want to be rich, start a big company. Invent a new a new machine or a new service. So
find a need, find a lack, a problem, and solve it, fill it, fix it.
your efforts will always be blessed. They don't bring the reward themselves. God's response to your efforts gives you the success. But if you don't make an effort, then obviously you're not interested. And if you're not interested, God won't give you. If you don't want to be rich, He's not going to force you.
I know if we need a vessel to be rich, why don't we pray and play the lottery? What's wrong with that?
It's not the way God set it up.
He's asking for a vessel.
6 days a week you shall work, not buy lottery tickets.
So if I spend all day praying and studying Torah, that's not going to be enough?
You will not be rich, I guarantee you.
But now that we're on the subject of lottery, is there a Kabbalah on the lottery that you know of
No.
from our sages?
No, because if there was, then all our sages would be rich, and they were not.
So the next question would be on segulas for shidduchim, finding one zivug, acquiring a love life. 2 above has just passed, and I was wondering if you have any advice on segulas for finding one soulmate.
Looking for segulas is almost like giving up hope. We don't need segulas. We just need to do the right thing, and everything works. We don't need gimmicks. We don't need tricks. We don't need shortcuts. We just want to do the right thing so that the right results come about. So we know what to do. Let's just do it. But if, sit back and look for a segula, for some kind of to accomplish what you need to accomplish, it's not going to happen. So looking for a segula.
Exactly. I mean, if you're going to get real segula about it, if we're going to use the quoted definition given, which was tactical. Tactical means you're planning some kind of strategy. You're creating a plan, it's just... So eliminate the word segula. That's my number one commandment. I hate the word tactical. But I will tell you this. I will use the lottery system to keep an eye and reward people through, randomness, just to see this is how the lottery works. Don't think people just win the lottery because they're lucky or did some prayer. It's because they're under some kind of test to see if they are of good fruit or, even capable of producing good fruit, which, if you've watched the documentary Curse of the Lottery, you'll know that, a lot of people get ruined by this this dream.
Not buy lottery tickets.
Zivug, acquiring a love life. 2 above has just passed, and I was wondering if you have any advice on segulas for finding one soulmate.
Looking for segulas is almost like giving up hope. We don't need segulas. We just need to do
Did
the
you really
right thing.
say cellmate or soulmate?
For finding one soulmate.
Looking for
This is again. Did you really say cellmate or soulmate?
segulas.
Zivug, acquiring a love life. 2 above has just passed, And I was wondering if you have any advice on segulas for finding one's soulmate.
Looking for.
So right there, I'm just gonna say, it seems like you got a very dark perspective on what marriage is supposed to be, what soulmate is.
Segulas is almost like giving up hope. We don't need segulas. We just need to do the right thing and everything works. We don't need gimmicks. We don't need tricks. We don't need shortcuts. We just want to do the right thing so that the right results come about. So we know what to do. Let's just do it. But if, sit back and look for a segula, for some kind of a gimmick.
It's like sitting in a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. Van Wilder.
Accomplish what you need to accomplish, and it's not going to happen. So looking for a segula almost sounds like you've given up.
Exactly.
No, I haven't given up. I still do mitzvah. I still pray. I still study Torah. But I'm trying to
And that's what's giving you your life. That's the best part of your life. So keep doing it. It'll continue to get better. And whatever needs to happen for you will happen.
Are there any tefillahs you can guide us on finding financial success or
I got a direct prayer tefillah that you can ask through a comment here. Is just, Brother Charles, may we have a chat? And I will come down from the clouds and say, hey, yeah, let's do it. You can wear that hat if you want. I'm just trying to rhyme, but that's how I am going to look for prayers.
or on finding our fiancés? Any blessings or tefillah you can help us on?
The blessings that we already have are plenty. And they cover.
Exactly. The more that you start to just look at life right now as a true blessing, then you'll understand that if you really believe that, it can only become more blessed the more things that come in. Like that's logic. So you gotta get into the mind, all right? Deal with your Adam and Eve and serpent in here before, wishing to have it manifested, because that's when just things just start, God, a goal, objective, or direction, dream, deadline. I look at God as an acronym. I see that you guys take out the O, perhaps because that was from the acronym when I said it, good or dark. I don't know what's going on here, but just know that I am directly speaking to you both. Rabbi Friedman, thank you for this opportunity.
Everything.
And the great advice
So if you
gave.
say the Amidah, you have asked for everything you need.
This is funny because in Korean, thank you is kamsamnida. Amnida. Amida. Amida. You said amnida.
Okay, but
And they cover everything. So if you say the Amidah, you have asked for
Kamsamnida.
everything you need.
okay, but if I'm struggling on a given issue, whether it's financial or relationships, and I do a 6-hour prayer session in one session, a one-time thing, do you think that's enough to jumpstart my spiritual refinement in getting my prayers answered?
Not only
If you look at it like this, hey, everything you did brought me to you through Rabbi Manis. So just look at it like that. If I can tell you right now that I will straighten all this out for you in a chalk talk, if you do what I told you to do, if you want me to come answer these prayers on your financial situation and your love life, I hear you, So now you could just put away the 6 hours of study and focus your attention to my words so that I can guide you back to wherever it is you dream of finding yourself. Rabbi, is that okay?
Is it enough? It's way overdone.
What do you mean?
You don't have to torture yourself in order for God to hear your prayers. He wants to give you success. He wants you to be married. He wants you to be happy. He wants you to be a father. You don't have to beg him. You have to convince him. He's not your enemy. Just show an interest. Say you're ready, and he will do the rest.
Okay, but is a 6-hour prayer session a step in the right direction, or is that over the top,
It's over
in your
the top.
opinion?
Over the top.
Okay.
Now, it was exactly what you needed to get you to here, where we are now. Okay, so just change your perspective there. Don't feel like, oh, I wasted all this time. Just look at it like that. Everything that you, it's like Thomas Edison. I didn't fail 2,000 times. I found 2,000 ways not to make a light bulb. I spent 6 hours, this many days, waiting for this moment for my prayers to be answered. So, hey, let's see what you learned in those 6 hours. But like I said, what I hear is you are fearful about, I guess, the stability of the future you foresee of your financial future, which to me is a little red flag, sir. Especially because now that everybody knows that I'm sending the IRS around to collect dues for Caesar. What has Caesar's face must go to Caesar. These churches have used language against God, and that is where I have to come down with mighty justice. It's just got to be done, and you're going to see that happening, and I think maybe this might be the cause.
You don't even have time to finish your studies. Where are you going to find 6 hours for prayer?
I can get up early
With a
and budget my time.
Yeah. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there's a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there.
To become the best. They say that it takes about 10,000 hours of deliberate practice to reach the brink of mastery in any one field. That's 10,000 hours to become the best of the best. Only 10,000 hours away from becoming the next Michael Jordan, the next Carl Sagan, the next Louis C.K. of whatever skill that piques your interest. But 10,000 hours seems like such an insurmountable amount of time. Oh, I don't have this amount of time that I could call mine. I got bills to pay, places to be, and people to see. But every 5 years, you are presented with an opportunity. See, in 5 years, there's a total of 43,800 hours. If you sleep 8 hours a day, you'll spend a total of about 15,000 hours of sleep. If you work or if you go to school for 40 hours a week, you'll spend a total of about 10,000 hours working just to stay on your feet. And if you spend just 4 hours a day doing the tasks of day-to-day life like cooking, eating, and cleaning, that's about 7,000 hours spent on chores and other miscellaneous bores. If you spend an hour a day socializing with your friends, family, and loved ones, that's a total of about 2,000 hours of quality time well spent. Time that you won't look back and ask where it all went. So if you're to add up the total amount of time you spend over the course of these next 5 years doing things that you have to do, you'll find that you're left with a total of just about 10,000 hours. That's all just for you. That's 10,000 hours of free time that you can choose to spend however you like. That's 330 minutes, 5.5 hours a day, 40 hours a week. That's all yours to this. To become the best of the best. Where it all went. Some choose to play games. Others prefer to smoke and drink as ways to hide from their shame. Don't get me wrong. they do become masters of their fields. Masters of wasting their time, wasting their talent, wasting their life, and above all, masters of walking around confused. So let me ask you a question, my friend. What will you choose?
The move is yours.